Wandavision, Spawn, Punisher, Miles Morales. What do these four things have in common? I did a poll about them. Stay tuned. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mikey, and this is Comics by the Cover. If you are returning to the channel, I first want to say thank you. I appreciate you coming back. If you are not subscribed yet, because apparently 80% of the people that watch this video are not subscribed according to YouTube. And well, you know what? That really disappoints me. I'm just kidding. If you feel the urge to subscribe, the button's right here. I want to point that right there. You can click that button right there and subscribe to the channel directly. If you are new to the channel, hey, welcome. I appreciate it. I greatly appreciate that you found your way to the channel. This is a fairly new channel. I've only been doing this for about a month, but we are going to be talking about a new segment for the channel, and this is my polls update. So every week on my Instagram, I like to ask little questions, little poll questions. Is it A or B questions? So nothing really complicated yet. And just kind of get the feel for things that are going on in the comic book community, because that's what I do on this channel. I talk about comic book related material. If you probably haven't figured it out by the name of the channel. But in this particular video, we're talking about some polls that we're conducting, and those polls pertain to WandaVision, Punisher, Spawn, and Miles Morales. So with that said, let's go ahead and get our polls started. The first poll we're going to talk about are the ones related to WandaVision. WandaVision with 3 episodes in. How are you feeling? What direction are you leaning? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Well, as you can see, 78% of people polled still enjoy the show. So that's a pretty good rating, I think, when you consider it. I personally really enjoy the show, and this last episode was a real banger for me. I thought it was just so good. I'm more interested in the fan theory about everything. I really like watching how people speculate what they think things are. There are some really absurd ones out there. I even think some of my personal ones are absurd. I even made a little video about it. You can probably click that up here if you wanted to. Based on the poll, like I said, it looks like people are really enjoying the show. I'm glad to see that that is the case. So the next question pertaining to WandaVision is, do you feel that White Vision may appear in the WandaVision television show? I was surprised that more people didn't poll higher on this, but it says 60% of people think that he will not appear in this show, while 39% people feel that he will appear in the show. And the reason why I proposed this question is because if you remember when the Endgame movie came out, and there was, they showed the scene where he was dead and he was kind of a gray color, the issue, West Coast Avengers issue, spiked in sales as a result, because people were certain that maybe we might be getting White Vision. But now with the show kind of, with Endgame and the Infinity War Endgame and all that kind of stuff is kind of past, and we are now full swing into the show, I'd like to ask the question again to see if this book may be an opportunity to speculate on. Is it an opportunity to maybe buy this book at a fairly decent rate so that you can get this update in character? Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, is an update in character really that important? Well, if you look at the history of some characters, that does seem to play a part, because if you think about Adam Warlock, first he was him, but then people like to collect when he became Adam Warlock, took on that name. Or Spider-Man, when he went from the traditional suit to the black suit. A lot of people like to collect that issue. Monica Rambeau recently, people have been speculating on the Photon, the Spectrum. No one talks about the other one that she had. I don't even remember what that was. There was a third one. So there's Miss Marvel, Photon, Spectrum. See, drawing a blank. But we'll fix that in post-edit. That's what I do here. I don't let things just hang. But anyway, so White Vision came up in the poll because of that question: is it worth buying? Apparently, most people think not. I do personally own the issue. I do think that he will probably appear as White Vision when he comes back in his new form. So the next question on the list was regarding Spawn. So as people know, Spawn has been in development forever. So I was having this conversation with someone recently about Spawn, and so it made me look up articles. And there were articles actually fairly recently, and I'll kind of post those here for you so you can see them. Or here, I'll post them on the screen somewhere for you so you can see them. But with Spawn, part of the development problems comes with the fact that Todd McFarlane wants to direct the movie. So that made me thought to myself, do we want to watch a film about Spawn directed by the creator, Todd McFarlane. And so that was the poll, and these are our results. As you can see, 60% of the people feel that is probably a bad decision, while 40% say it'll be a good decision. I can see the argument for it being a good decision because, he is the creator. So you would think that, he would have a sense of direction on how he wants things to flow within the movie and how he wants his character to be represented within the movie. However, Todd McFarlane has not directed anything in his life, so that might pose some challenges for a Spawn movie. So as I was reading further along into this whole Spawn movie thing, and what are some of Todd McFarlane's thoughts on directing this movie, this one came up, and of course I had to ask this poll. So as you can see, this poll says, would you watch a Spawn film knowing that rather than seeing Spawn as a character, he's going to be this more ethereal and less substantive of a character, something similar to Jaws? So reading the article, this is what Todd McFarlane wants for his character to appear in the show. So rather than actually seeing Spawn, you might see a mist. You might see a cape. You might see anything but Spawn, but you know that his actions are there because he is this overall menacing image within the film that you never really see. You see these like in Jaws, you would only see the fin, and so forth. And then of course at the end you get these final reveal, and so that's kind of one of the things he was thinking about. But surprisingly, people said yeah, they are down for that, and I get it, because Jaws is such a great film, and part of what makes Jaws works is the fact that you don't see the shark until later. But I just don't know how. Part of me feels like, well, I can understand if we go more of a horror route, and that is kind of the plan or thought process for Spawn as a movie. But I'll be honest with you, I like that campy 90s Spawn movie. It's so bad. CGI does not hold up at all in that film, but I liked it, and so I like seeing the character. I would like to see him more in reveal, but that's something that if they do this in the first one, maybe in the second film they can give more of a reveal. So now that we got Wandavision and Spawn out of the way, the next big hot topic that came up in the past week was around Punisher. I had watched several YouTube videos talking about Punisher, and different people's opinions and Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds. Everybody was talking about Punisher after the incidents that occurred at the Capitol in regards towards his logo representing these people that stormed the Capitol. So the question had to come up, of course, is with everything going around, let's simplify this question. Should Marvel retire the Punisher skull logo? And according to the majority of the comic community, that is a big old no. There were about 15% people that feel that he should retire it. I think we can do things regarding the character to kind of maybe improve his image a little bit, or just maybe develop him a little bit more, because I personally feel the Punisher, and I haven't read Punisher since the 90s, mind you, but I feel like Punisher's MO from the 80s and 90s was this, this finding these crime rings, taking down these drug pens, and this nitty gritty crime fighting. But I feel like that his environment really doesn't exist anymore. So he still exists, but his environment of what he's trying to do doesn't really feel like it exists. And I feel like, as a character, it'll be interesting to get a writer who explores some more of his humanity side. So I want to see some of his real conflict. I would like to see some of his personal life kind of hashed out a little bit more. And again, I haven't read Punisher, so part of me feels like that may have occurred. If you have read Punisher, let me know in the comments. Fill in there everything you know about Punisher, and if you think he's been a pretty well developed character overall, or if you think that there's an opportunity for an amazing writer to come in and truly develop the character, add some personal touches to the character to really kind of develop him a little bit more. I did like him though in the television series on Netflix, I will say that, because I felt he felt deeper than he did in the comic books. And of course, the final question coming in for the week was regarding good old Miles Morales swinging his way through. And we have to ask ourselves, recently there were a couple sales for the 9.8 first appearance of Miles Morales that hit new records. So with these two most recent sales, we have to ask ourselves, is Miles Morales about to start another upswing in the market? If you aren't specking on Miles Morales, I don't know where you are, because all kinds of spec circuit around Miles Morales. If it's not Ultimate Fallout number 4, it is one of the latter prints, or even now I'm starting to see some trends or movements with the second appearance in Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. So those issues are also being kind of on the rise over the past year as well. So the question is Miles Morales in an upswing? Are we about to see some new heights for the book? According to the poll, 72% of the people polled said yeah. They think Miles Morales is definitely getting hotter and probably will continue to get hot for the next 6 months. So if you haven't secured your copy of Ultimate Fallout number 4, I highly encourage you to try to find it. And if you can't find the first print, that's fine. I can't stress enough, pick up one of these extra copies that I will post right here for you so you can see them, because there is a heavy trend in ladder prints right now. Ladder prints tend to have a little bit lower print run, and people want them just as much as an alternative option. And there are a lot of ladder prints for this book and alternate printings for this book that you can go out and find. So in addition to these regular ladder prints that you see right here, you know, there is this Mole print, there is a Comic Fest print. So there's a lot of extra books that you can find for Miles Morales. And if you're not going there, looking for this Ultimate Comics number 1. I personally found it recently in a back bin, like last week. You can watch the video on it. But I found it in a back bin for $6. And people are selling it online for around $60 to $90. I think the average raw sale is $93 last I checked, and I'll post an update right here during this video. So anyways, those are the polls that were the past week. What are your thoughts? If you did not take the poll, follow me on Instagram so you can take the poll, one. Otherwise, leave your comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on these polls. Which ones do you think you agree with? Which ones do you think you disagree with? And I'd like to get this conversation started. So with that said, that video is a wrap, and this is a bye.